Welcome back, everyone, to a celebration on Don't Tell Me How to Fan. My name is Josh Albrecht, and with me, as always, is my pal, John Taylor. What's up, buddy?
Oh, Josh, how you doing? I am doing great. To answer your question,
It's great, man.
I'm celebrating a Brewers NL
What?
Central championship.
We own the Central,
Wow.
baby.
Now,
They
correct.
clinched today, the day we're recording this. Now, I buy all the gear. You buy all the gear, John. Some people are like, well, no, you don't get the shirt for the division championship because when they're out, in 2 weeks, then it'll be 50% off. That's not how you fan.
It's not how you fan, and that is one way I will tell you how to fan. Okay, either you like
Thank
the
you.
team and you get the merch, or you don't like the team and you get it on clearance. Okay, because
Right. Are you looking for a deal or are you looking to celebrate an accomplishment?
Yep.
Which this is. That's the other thing. Okay. What has happened to Milwaukee sports fans? This entitlement. What is happening? The Brewers have won the NL Central 6 of the last 7 years.
mind blowing.
I'm going to take you back, right, to 2006, 2007, when you had, Prince and Braun and all these, and you're like, hey, this team, are we gonna, for the first time since 1982, are we gonna see this team? And then it happens in 2008, and we are crying. We are oh my God.
Yeah.
And now we've done it 6 of the last 7 years, and people are like, yeah, well, they'll blow it.
Yeah.
Wait, they'll blow it. I'm not buying that shirt. Get it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, jaded or not, I don't get it.
Boo.
It's boo. Boo is right. Is the right word. Yeah, I remember when we clinched the 2008. It was the first time they had made a playoff appearance in my life. And I know you're not there either. So, or you're right there with me. I was 20. Yeah, I was 21, 20. Yeah. Anyways, it's crazy. Yeah. It's just crazy. This is the Brewers have established a culture of winning, and that's incredible. The fact that we even have Milwaukee fans no longer treating the NL championship, the NL Central championship, as a World Series win is a huge plus. But the negativity that comes with it is definitely frustrating, especially on a day like today of all days. Winning a division is not easy. To win the division as dominantly as the Brewers have almost all season is reason enough to get the shirt, because even if they do get bounced in the wild card, which I'm knocking on all the wood that's around me.
Yes. Good.
Even if they were to get bounced, like, this was utter domination by a team that had no business performing as well as they did. They're 2 wins away from a 90-win season with this ball club.
Yep.
And every single
supposed to happen.
Beat writer, pundit, anybody you talk to said this team would be lucky to break 60 wins. And look at them now, and truly.
And here's the thing. I mean, 60 was a little ridiculous, but a lot of these national pundits, they have to have a take, right? Everyone's got to have a take. You go to the take store, you buy a take. I get that it's an easy take to bash this Brewers team because at the beginning of the year, they weren't the hot ticket item. There were a ton of question marks of what the hell is this team going to be? Is Pat Murphy really the guy? They lost counsel. This is the Cubs year, if anyone, and maybe the Cardinals give the Cubs a run for their money. No one expected the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm talking not just national, I'm talking local too. I didn't hear from one single person that I bet we win the division, we clinch the division up 11 games on both the Cubs and the Cardinals. No one was saying even 10 plus games. No one was thinking it was going to be this much of an utter domination of the Central. And I love it. I mean, this is the type of stuff that you tune in to Chicago Sports Fan Radio for, to just hear the comments about counsel. I thought we got this guy from the Brewers because he was going to do this for us. F that guy, F this team. I mean, that's what they're going through. And yet we're saying cheers.
Yeah.
We did it again.
We did it.
6 and 7 years. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, we're drinking non-alcoholic stuff to celebrate our man, Jackson Chourio. Apparently I'm not going to lie, I do have the Brewers post game on a monitor to the left of me.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of Coors Edge and apple juice. Coors Edge is their non-alcoholic in a stroller with his name tag. So they're having some fun. You know, I'm sure if he might find his lips on a glass of wine or champagne when the camera's not looking, hey, there's probably different laws
Hey,
in.
now, come on.
Anyways,
He's
yeah,
playing
you
by
know
our
what?
laws.
They're having fun in the clubhouse. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, it's I mean I can't say enough about this team. I think I did the classic Brewers thing where the Brewers always seem to start off competitive and you're just waiting for the shoe to drop, and to have so much adversity hit, and we'll go through that probably later, just over and over and over, and just never have that other shoe drop has been absolutely incredible.
Was there one point, John, throughout the season where you said to yourself, "Man, this team is look out. This team is unstoppable." I never had that moment.
Hmm,
For me, it was constantly, man, they just keep winning. Like, I
yeah,
don't know how. It wasn't at any point to where if I was talking to a Dodgers fan or a Phillies fan or a Braves fan, take your pick, that I'm going, you guys better be scared. I'm just as confused as everyone else of how they're finding
yeah,
a way to put this season together.
yeah,
Because on paper, it doesn't make sense. On the field, it doesn't make sense. I'm not looking, I can't look at a single person that, pitcher or otherwise, that goes, well, yeah, because you have to pitch around that guy or he's going to light you up. And you better
hmm,
hope we don't have this guy on the mound or you're screwed. I don't, this team doesn't have that. They just keep finding ways to do this and have this incredible run, and it's awesome. It's just
yeah.
awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely. You asked me if there was any point. It's one of those things where I just think there was always just something going on that felt good in the background, or just the right amount of things. Things would be kind of going right. We'd hear an injury. Oh shoot! All of a sudden, is Yelich back? Not, I mean, he's gone now, but
Right.
in the beginning of the season, all-star starter Christian Yelich. Oh, he's back and he's doing stuff for us. William Contreras started red hot, and you're going, he picked up from where he picked up last year. It wasn't a fluke. This guy's for real, and he's got over 90 RBIs. So it's like
Yep.
the bat's there. It's very real, and so every once in a while where I start thinking like, oh, the wheels are about to fall off this. We talked about the other day, 17 different starting pitchers. All of a sudden, we're bringing in DL Hall to start, and you're trying out Dallas
Keuchel.
Keuchel, right? Yeah. I always said that. Yeah. And Murph's just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks, and what's crazy is that most of it stuck. And I think it's a huge credit to him. I think it's
Agreed.
like it's pretty clear he has to be the NL coach of the year. I don't see how you could select anyone else. And I think
I
that
mean, no offense, but there's no way I see that happening.
we should put a wager on it, and we'll do it offline until a betting partner wants to support this podcast, but
Yes.
sponsor this podcast. Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
But I think he's a lock for sure. For
He
sure.
should be. He's definitely deserving. That's not my argument.
Yeah.
I just, small market bias. They'll find
I mean, Craig
they'll find
wanted
a different story.
yeah.
Oh, well, we like this guy's story better. They did the Phillies. What an incredible run they had. And, the numbers of
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. That's just how that goes. But anyway, I don't want to get down on that negativity. If I'm going to get down on negativity, it was going to be, and this changed a little bit. So that's why I got a little pep in my step.
That's
But
right.
was the way that they clinched. Okay. So they clinched earlier in the day because the Cubs played the Athletics, the A's. They
Mhm.
lost, classic
Yep.
Cubs. And that clinched it for the Brewers. The Brewers officially clinched, I believe, around like 4 p.m. Central.
Mhm.
The game starts at 6. So 2 hours before the game even starts for the Brewers, they've already clinched. The tarps come off of the merch. Everyone can go in and buy their stuff, although they can't because they can't get into the building unless they have a ticket to the game. So, that makes it difficult and all that. But last year, I was at the game with our friend Brian, who that was supposed to be the clinching game. And then they lost that game, but then it happened that I don't remember the team that we were battling with, but that team also lost.
Mhm.
And so then we ended up clinching a spot. And it was like, okay, we lost, but we're the champs. Okay. So we did it. Yay.
Yeah.
And that hits different, right? And so I was really like, man, I don't want that again. I don't like limping into these situations because what did I say last week? Got to get hot if they can get hot, right? If you're limping into the postseason, you're not hot, you're not getting hot. That doesn't work. So the fact that they won tonight against the Phillies, against that team that's in first place in the NL. They beat that team to say, even if the Cubs would have won, we still would have been right here.
Yep.
Is such a huge message, not only to the rest of the MLB, but to the fans of like, yeah, we're not limping into anything. And so now
Yeah.
I really hope that they keep that pressure on and find a way to get hot in these next few, however many games they got left.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing the Diamondbacks. I know they got a series with the Diamondbacks this weekend. I mean, that's another tough opponent. I mean, right now, if we looked at the wild card standings, let's say the Brewers don't catch the Phillies or the Dodgers, which, you know, I'm starting to willing to admit to that it could be challenging. The Dodgers got rocked with some injuries. I forget.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know,
Mhm.
it's simple math. You know, we're running out of games to do it.
To my
So,
side, yes.
no.
Good.
I just listen. I'm happy we won the championship, the Central Championship. You know, the division. I keep calling it the championship. It sounds weird, and it is
Yeah,
the division. But what I'm saying is, I just think they're good. They've shown they're better to do more. So I just want to see them keep trying. I want to see them keep fighting. Like I said, I'm not mad if they don't catch the Dodgers. I just don't want to see boneheaded decisions while we round out this playoff push. You know,
So, now here's the question though. This is a fun conversation that gets to take place, and we'll talk about this more in future episodes as we finish out the regular season. But they won and they clinched with 10 games to go.
mhm.
So, first of all, huge number. Like, damn. Remember when we were playing game 163?
Yeah.
10 games. Jesus. Domination. Different point. So, now's when we get to have the conversation of when is the right time? Is there a right time to rest guys, to not push guys, right? Because if someone, God forbid, if something happens to someone, we'll all lose our damn minds. But on the flip side, we'll also say, well, you can't shut it down. You got 10 games left, and you're only 2 games out of that second place. So I'm thinking if the number gets to 4, if they lose, the Brewers have to find a way to win because if they get that game to 1 with the Diamondbacks or with the Dodgers,
Mhm.
you got to be thinking we're right there.
Oh yeah, I mean Murphy is Murphy won on his presser before the game said we still have business to take care of. In their mind, they're playing for one of the top 2 seeds in the NL, and that's the mentality I want them to have. And I want them to start. You know that there's no fear of backsliding now. At the worst, you're the 3rd seed in the NL, and that's a great spot to be. So, in terms of resting guys, to answer your first question, I'm hesitant to full blown rest guys, but I would be interested in seeing tweaks to the lineup to get other guys warm. And what I mean by that is, I think we don't need to see William Contreras catching anymore. I think we should probably see him pretty prominently in the DH role, is my guess.
Okay.
I think Sanchez has power has opportunities for
Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez. Yeah.
That guy the Brewers were supposed to cut. Oh man, did I live with that the whole season? The whole season I lived with that. Yeah. Probably should have still cut him. I'm going to say that until they win it all.
And then, Eric Haas. I mean, it's really rare to see a team juggle 3 catchers, and I think they're doing that really masterfully. I think we could start seeing more Jake Bauers in terms of just keeping our lefty bats warm. So we're not having a weird Jesse Winker situation like we did last playoffs where we're calling guys who are cold or not producing. I mean, it's a silly thing to say because Jake Bauers just walked off.
I was going to say.
Walked off the Phillies with a really beautiful single. But that's the kind of stuff I want to see, if and that's the only guys I can really think about between Reese and because everybody else is so young and ready to go. That's the nice thing about having a really young team. In terms of rest, you can start tweaking with the pitching lineup potentially. You run the risk of getting too cute too early, and then you're throwing off guys' cycles. And I would hate for something.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't know. I think you just got to keep playing like you have something to play for, which they do. They are not eliminated from taking the 2 seed. They're technically not eliminated from taking the 1st seed. So let's just keep playing baseball.
Let it keep playing out.
Let's let it ride. And the beautiful thing about Murph ball, Murphtober, as I like to call it,
rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. We've all been saying it for minutes now. The thing that I like about it is they execute the fundamentals so unbelievably well. And that's something that you can keep sharp. and it's important to keep sharp. So I think, I just think they're in a great spot. I feel really hopeful this postseason. Obviously, in a 3-game series, anything can happen, and I think that's one of the biggest pitfalls of the wild card expansion. But it is what it is. At some point, the Brewers just have to show that they're the better baseball team, and I think they are better than the Mets and the Diamondbacks, even if they are surging. So, and who would have thought? Who would have thought to say it? But the record, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, the way the offense produces this season compared to every other season of the last 6 of the 7 years we've been in the playoffs is so exciting. And as a Brewers fan,
weird. It's just a weird feeling watching it. I think back to certain teams. I think back to the teams with like Prince and Braun, or even Yelich in 2018 and those guys, and like you just felt different when people were at the plate. Like, okay, this is it. He's going to get it started right here. Here we go. I don't have that feeling when I watch these guys. I'm just kind of like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And it's a weird feeling. And I think it's because as a fan, I didn't expect this. So all season I've been saying, I guess we'll see what happens. And now that's the same mentality that I have at the end of the season too. Nothing really changed for me throughout the season of, me being more confident in a certain player of saying to that level, right? Obviously I've seen players grow. I mean, none bigger than Churio, but I still don't feel like I can say with all certainty, yet I'm confident in this guy to be the guy that's going to get us over that edge. The team is just finding a way to win when they need to, and I hope that continues.
Yeah. Well, I will push back on that a little bit. I think every time the lineup is such that Churio, Contreras, and Adames are 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4, however Murph bunches those up, I'm not kidding. I think I go into any of those at bats thinking we're going to get guys on base and we're going to be able to do something about it. I mean, timely hitting. I think about how many runners in scoring position. There's a stat no one actually cares about, but Brewers fans can't stand because of the last several years where we'd get guys on second and third and we could just not drive them in. And the amount of runs we've batted in with 2 outs remaining is astronomical. I wish I had that stat up in front of me, but it's a trend that's true. The Brewers have found a way to manufacture runs with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. So yeah, maybe it's not one guy. I just believe in just the overall, and this is going to sound really cringe, but I just believe in the vibes.
Yeah.
It's never the same. Like you have your tentpole guys. Jackson Churio is going to do something exceptional every single game. Willy Adames is good for a 3-run homer, apparently. Contreras every 4th day is going to beat the piss out of the baseball. And then you can kind of just fill in the bingo card wherever you want. Who had Blake Perkins carrying
right. No, literally no one did.
Carrying like the Brewers against the Craig Counsell return with the Cubs on Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend. Nobody.
Right. No.
So it's just a lot of guys making hits, timely stuff. Joey Ortiz was actually
Joey Ortiz.
I mean, he was firmly cemented in the conversation about Rookie of the Year until he got hurt. And I think I mean, these guys they're all healthy. They're all figuring it out. I think we're in a great spot. I guess there's been so many injuries. Who's left to get injured? You know what I mean? Let's talk about it.
Oh my God. Don't say
I'm
that.
kidding. I know.
Everyone, literally every single person.
I wish I would have said
injured. Yeah.
You know what?
Have.
Scrub that. Or
take that back.
I take it back.
Take it out in post. Yeah, no, it's been incredible. And as much as we want to immediately move on and focus on what happens next, which it's hard not to, right? But like there's so many, especially with the Cubs and the Cardinals, like it just always feels so good to have one up on them.
Yeah.
But by this amount, like I gotta go back to that. It's just they were never in it. Like I kept waiting. Like, well, just wait. Just wait. This is what the Cardinals do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just wait. Is Craig Tenberg going to happen in Chicago? Just wait. Keep waiting. Nothing.
No
Didn't happen. There was no change. It just kept being the Brewers consistently dominating for way too long, like unrealistically long, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do want to say that obviously the NL Central is easily the weakest division in the entire in the entire uh in all of
MLB,
baseball, in the
yeah.
entire MLB. But hey, you can only play who you can play. You know, I'm not going to apologize for that. I think you
Also,
know,
the way that the schedule,
yeah,
works itself out is different now. It's
yeah,
not to where you play, the teams in your division as much as you did. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago? When
sure,
they changed that to where you're supposed to, you play every team once, or I don't know, however the hell Manfred did it. But
hmm,
so you do play harder teams. It's not like they're only here because they beat up on the Cubs and Cardinals.
yeah,
And the Cubs and the Cardinals had the same opportunities to play those other teams too. So it, I kind of go against that argument now, as much as I used to be with you on
yeah.
that, but you're not playing the Pirates 20 times now. It's
Hmm.
it's different.
Yeah. And honestly, in baseball, you beat yourself more than anyone beats you in in 3 game series. It's stupid mistakes, it's poor fundamentals, bad execution. So and that's just circling back to, like I said, I just think Murph has these guys really rallied around him and believing you know, it's always fun to watch him do his pressers. He really believes in the guys. He'll jump on any grenade in any situation, even when players make the wrong decision. He's not the guy that's going to throw him under the bus. He's happy to stand in front of the media and just pound the table for his guys. And I just think, like, what a refreshing breath of fresh air,
Yep.
as opposed to Craig Counsell. So, and what's funny is that they at the start of the season, talking about things you weren't expecting, they promoted Ricky Weeks to assistant head coach. You thought, well, how long is Murph going to be here? If they're bad, is this just like is this a shadow government, like a
Holding
puppet
spot.
government?
Yeah.
Yeah, a holding spot, exactly. And now I'm thinking, you sign this dude to 3 or 4 years. I mean, like, you let him run it back until the wheels fall off. Like, I think Ricky Weeks will be a great coach in the league someday, but if Murph keeps getting the guys playing like this, like, I don't think it needs to be next year. I don't think it needs to be the year after that.
Why would you
Um,
touch it?
yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Right. Right. Especially looking at what expectations are or were. Right. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I hated forever the bites of the apple line. Right. Well, look, this team just wants consistent bites of the apple. That is not how this felt at all. This does not feel like a bites of the apple scenario. This is I don't know. This has a, like you said, this has a different vibe.
mhm.
And that's changed. It's been such a roller coaster of a season from an emotional standpoint. Logistically, it's been pretty steady. They've
Yeah,
they've just won consistently. They didn't have hot streaks and cold streaks. They just kept winning series and doing what they needed to. But if you take me back to spring training and you ask that Josh Albrecht, hey, would you believe me if I said that the Brewers were going to clinch the division with 10 games to go? I would have said, absolutely not. We got rid of Burns. Woodruff's out for the year. I mean, we were hoping that Woody was still going to be here. What are we going to rely on Peralta? And then
mhm.
who's going to help him? It's going to be just him. Can't put him out there more than once every 5 days. This is all the questions I would have had. And none of that mattered. Peralta wasn't even like a killer ace. He struggled.
Yeah.
And they still found ways to win. It's just, if someone said to me, "Can you define how this Brewers team did what they did?" I don't know how to answer that question. They just did. I don't know. Do you have an answer? I don't have an answer.
Do I have an answer? Well, I mean, touched on a lot of points there, friend. What would my answer be? I think they figured out they figured out how to keep winning during adversity. You talked about the Corbin trade. To be expected. I like the pieces that they got in return. They clearly thought DL Hall could potentially fill the back end of their rotation or be a long relievers guy, and then he's out for months. You talk about, they were able to get Woodruff back, but you knew he wasn't going to be here this year either way. So getting him back was
Right.
obviously a huge moral win. So, but it can't be understated how big of a deal it is when he's pitching, you know? Even for how much he's been injured the last couple of years, it's like you would take that every season, because when he was on the mound, he was absolutely shoving. Um, Wade Miley,
Yeah.
we convinced him to come back, and then almost as quickly as he was here, he was gone out the season. And sadly, it's probably his career. I think he's done. But
Yeah.
yeah, And I think, you know what, probably what it was is they had to suffer through so much adversity just to start the season that I just think they found the groove of like, well, whatever this league wants to throw at us, we're just going to keep figuring it out. And huge credit to the pitching staff, huge credit to, you know, the scouting department. I mean, to bring in the guys that they brought in, you know, to bring Tobias Myers into the fold, you know, to scout and develop, you know, Colin Ray and you know,
I want to stop you there. I want to talk
yeah.
about Colin Ray.
Yeah.
If I told you that Colin Ray had a 4.14 ERA, what do you think his win-loss record is?
I would say probably hovering around like 500.
Yeah.
Maybe worse.
12
Yeah.
and 5.
Yeah.
Oh, how? Like, and people are talking about like, well, I feel really good when Colin Ray's like,
yeah.
I can't tell you why I feel good. I shouldn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Usually if a team is giving up 4 runs, they're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
Almost double the amount of losses, more than double the amount of losses for Colin Ray on the mound. Again, it goes back to the same thing. I don't understand. The numbers don't make sense, John. I don't get it. All right, continue.
No, it's good. I think, you know, as funny as those Undaunted t-shirts were, I mean, I'm starting to think maybe they actually were undaunted. You know, maybe Murph was right when he printed those shirts.
Yeah, what a callback. Yeah.
Because, you know, I just think like you talk about young and inexperienced guys, they don't know what they don't know. And I think like it definitely proved this season. You know, Tobias, Colin, I mean, even just getting like Ashby back, you know, a month ago and finding out that his stuff out of the pen is just like absolutely nasty. It's like they just keep finding ways to utilize the guys that they have in the system and maximize their output. And it's translating to wins. I mean, you know, if it was that easy, every team would do it. Unfortunately, a lot of other teams, or fortunately, have huge checkbooks and they just pay superstar players. So, you know, the Brewers always have had to fight and claw to be competitive. So, you know, I can't say I'm too surprised that they're in better positions to handle adversity because of it, because they're already having to invest so much more time in the development of these guys. They know their stars are leaving. They always have to be thinking about who's next. You know, Devin Williams is technically under contract through next year, and we were already talking about should we have traded him last year. You know, these are just the conversations Brewers fans have perennially.
We're used to it. We're used to
anybody good is going to be gone, and the conversation is who can we get good that's young in return. And I think this year I think truly was the perfect blend of getting really exciting young talent back in that Burns trade, the development of our guys, obviously. I mean, dude, we could talk about the next hour and a half about Churio's arrival to the MLB. No one thought he was going to be this dominant. He's not good for his age. He's not good for his rookie season. He is good for an MLB baseball player. The dude is an absolute stud, you know? I mean, what? He's the first 20 and 20 season at 20 years old, the youngest player to ever do it, to hit 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases. Like, give me a break. And also to clinch this, or to walk off this this game, we already clinched it, but just, you know, the way we're talking about how it felt like a clinch, like a triple that wasn't even close to getting thrown out. He is so talented in every aspect of the game, and we have him locked up for 8 years. It's the best contract.
Yes.
It's the best contract. I mark my words, or don't. I think he's going to be a better Brewer than Ryan Braun when it's all said and done. And I know what that means because Ryan Braun had a ton of incredible seasons, but this dude has stuff that Braun can't touch in terms of speed, you know, athleticism around the bases. And I know Braun was no slouch, but I mean, dude, the speed that players have in the MLB today is just, you cannot touch it.
Everyone's faster, everyone's stronger. I mean, that happens every year. But you're 100% right. And I, you know, we talked about this last time a little bit too, but it was not just a few weeks. It was at least a month and a half, 2 months that people were saying, did we bring Chourio up too soon?
Yeah.
Was this a mistake? He needs more time. Just send him back down. It's going to be fine. Can you imagine? Can you imagine having that conversation, seeing what he became, seeing how he figured it out?
Mm-hmm.
What an awful move that would have been.
Yeah.
Taking him out of the role he was in, taking him away from Murph and this team that helped him grow into what he's been. And he's still a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets better.
Anybody who I understand why you say his numbers in the season were not good, but the belief that the Brewers organization had that he would figure it out was 100% emblematic of the way he ascended in the minors. The dude, I mean, he was in AAA baseball at 19 years old. That is absolutely absurd. So, and I think it goes to, if this was last year, the year before, I don't think Churio sniffs this team. You know what I mean? Because the Brewers had very different expectations. So it's just like I said, it's the perfect confluence, combination, whatever word you want to use to talk about the fact that like just enough skepticism met opportunity, met potential, met, all of these different things that allowed for a lot of guys who probably should not have seen MLB playing time as much as they've seen it this season, but absolutely making the most of it. So, this wasn't.
You're right. It was about opportunity, though. It was about the right timing and the right opportunity. This team had a lot of feels of the Packers last year. The expectations were different. It was, well, we'll see what they do, but they have a lot of pieces that, are down and out. They have a lot of young guys, and we don't really know what to expect. I mean, you're not going to expect the expectations for next season for the Brewers are going to be much different than what they were now. Now we saw what Churio can be. We saw what some of these guys can be. We saw the way that Murph can lead a team, just like now we're experiencing with the Packers. And we're saying, look, we saw what Jordan Love can do. We saw what these receivers can do. Now our expectations changed. So it is kind of funny, too, that we're experiencing what could have been a really bad time in Wisconsin sports of these two teams that we love going through this transition phase, but instead they both came out on top.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah. I'll say this, this wasn't, I'll be the first one to admit this wasn't the most X's and O's. Hey, let's dive into specifics. I think really I feel comfortable saying this for the both of us. We love the Brewers. We've been fans for a very long time. The Brewers fans experience to go an entire lifetime, and every single Brewers fan has gone their entire lifetime without ever seeing a World Series win. It's hard. And I'm just so happy to watch exciting baseball. I'm excited. This was easily maybe the most fun season I've watched in a long time because of those low expectations and to have it pay off the way it did. I'll say though, I'm really excited about this postseason. Going into next year, I'm excited about the talent that they have. We're going to lose some really key pieces, unfortunately. And I already think we have pieces to replace it, which is exciting. Willie, obviously, I'm talking about Willie Adames. I mean, his production on offense is going to be hard, but
I don't want to talk about that.
I know we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
But I just wanted to say, I just want to say this. This is a happy podcast. We both got on super emotional and very excited after the walk-off hit.
Yeah, why not? Of course.
If you wanted
62 games, in this case 152.
Yep.
But it's a long season.
Yep.
It's a long season, and to be able to continue to celebrate the team, it was not that long ago where we were begging for a 500 win season.
Yeah.
That was going to be what we were going to celebrate. This is amazing what this team continues to do.
Yeah.
And it should be celebrated.
Yes, it is. And that's what we're doing here, okay? If you want to hear us just spout a bunch of Fangraphs numbers about pitching ERA, we'll do it next episode. But right now, your Brewers are
Also,
NL Central champs. Yeah,
we're not going to do that next episode. That's don't tell me how to fan, John. You're starting to tell me how to fan. Don't.
My bad.
Yeah. Stop that.
But I am excited to nerd out about it. I just think from a holistic view, the Brewers met and exceeded expectations, and I could not be more proud of this organization. Like I said, as somebody who worked inside the stadium for 8 years and watched some of those incredible moments, I know how fun it is to just be a part of a community. I mean, the team is so small, it really does feel like it. So I'm just happy for everyone there. I'm glancing over and they're talking to Devin and all of their families are on the field. It's just it's just beautiful. And like you said, the fact that they still came out and got the win and took the series against the Phillies, man, just what an incredible night, for a Wednesday in the middle of September. What an incredible night, So
it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Speaking of love, I know a lot of people are going, okay, I've been listening to you guys for 30 minutes and you didn't bring up the Packers. Yes, I know usually we'll do a Packer preview or something at the end of the week podcast leading into the game. So really quick, anything you want to say about the Packers before we go and celebrate the Brewers more after the podcast?
You know, Jordan Love practiced today, limited, very limited,
Insane.
doing exercises. Do I think he's going to play? I don't know. I
I
actually
hope
think
not.
it's a coin flip. I don't
I
know.
hope not.
I mean, if they clear him to play, he should play. I think it's pretty. He can, dude. If MLF can make, if Matt LaFleur can make Malik Willis look like a passable quarterback, I think he can keep Jordan Love safe. But
Yeah,
like I said, I don't know. I'm just happy to see him practicing. I really would like to see him back
Agreed.
next week for sure. I think the Titans are a bad football team, but the Packers are not going to be able to run all over them like they could the Colts. Their defensive front is. So if it is Malik Willis, they are going to have to open up the playbook. Will Levis is bad. He is a bad quarterback, and not in the way that I think Malik Willis is not reaching his potential. I just think Will Levis. I think
he's just
a bust.
bad.
I think he's just bad. But
Yeah.
so I don't know. You know, I think this is more of a coin flip for me than the Colts because the path to victory isn't so clear to me. You know, I can't premonition just run 50 times.
So what do you think?
They're going to have to move the ball. I say all that, and even if Malik Willis starts, I still think they could win. I'm going to say 21-9. Man, the Titans offense cannot move the ball down the field. And here's the thing that's different about this game than the first two games is, you know, I've been hearing everybody throw around this term mush rush, which is what they were doing in the first two games. We're going to soft rush and just contain the lanes. Well, guess what? Will Levis isn't scrambling. He's not a dual threat quarterback. I think our pass rush, our edge, we're going to see a lot more blitzes. I think this is where
time to wake up. Yep.
This is where Hafley's going to let his hair down, however many centimeters it can, because it's pretty high and tight. But I think this is where the defense can say, I think they're going to put their stamp on this game.
I'm going to go 2013 Pack.
Great. I love that.
And
if Jordan Love plays, hell, I'm going to say it's 55-10. You know, that's what
if Jordan Love plays. Yeah.
If he plays.
I hope that Jordan Love is sitting on the couch and, well, he won't be on the couch. He'll be on the sidelines.
Yeah.
But I hope that under his hoodie, he has on a Brewers, we own the NL Central shirt and can appreciate it. Because he should also be celebrating. Everyone should be celebrating.
Giannis should be celebrating.
You mean
wherever he's doing Pilates? Yeah, exactly.
Owner,
I said it. I said it. Yeah.
Milwaukee Brewers owner, Giannis?
Yeah.
God, I hope he is.
Man, I cannot wait to start talking more Bucks. This is the doldrums of the NBA. Shout out to Portland. That's where I live, in case anyone didn't know. WNBA coming in 2026. I'm very excited. But yeah, as we're kind of trailing off, just a quick programming note. I know we're going a little long. We're pretty excited. We got a couple comments about, hey, don't forget about the Brewers. I know you guys are talking Packers. Just in general, because of the way the NFL season, you pretty much can guarantee that Monday or Tuesday drop is going to be pretty Packers focused. It just is the nature of the schedule. This is the episode, the Thursday, Friday episode that we released. This is the one we're going to dive more into the Brewers stuff. This is where we're going to dive more into Bucks and some more just like larger picture fan, kind of like chop it up stuff. But obviously if the Brewers are in the playoffs and the Packers, we'll distribute accordingly, but that's just the kind of flow. We love the Packers. We're excited they're back. The love stuff is a lot. We're doing our best to split the time, but we promise to touch on everything if you go week by week. It's not lost.
That was a nice way of, I'll sum that up. What John was saying is, don't tell me how to fan.
It's a great point.
That's what he was saying. So
cool.
To everyone that commented, please continue to, but also don't tell us how to fan, because I'm going to fan the way that I want. Thank you everyone for watching. John, thanks for hopping on for this, a day early celebratory episode. Go Brewers. Keep turning up the heat. Cheers. I appreciate it. And we will see everyone after the Packers game. We'll find out how they do against the Titans.
Goodbye, Brewers fans.
Make sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, because we are not done yet.